This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Hi, and welcome to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Each week, our goal is the same, to provide you, the entrepreneur or small business owner, with information and inspiration to start and grow your own business, and introduce you to other business owners and community leaders who may help make your dreams a reality. We seek out experts in a variety of related fields and have meaningful conversations with people and organizations that share their insights and expertise. We then present you 7 basic categories to help you get started, gain access to capital, keep up with current events, handle the important accounting and bookkeeping issues, and help you run your business day to day. We visit with industry leaders and select a business or community leader to present a success story, a little inspiration for all of us. We have a new show every Sunday on Wish TV, also live streams on wishtv.com, and we post each of our 7 weekly segments to our website, beoshow.com, along with past episodes and resources. You'll see a QR code throughout the hour. That'll take you straight to the site for information, and our newsletter and our podcast as well on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Lots to see there. Here's what's coming up this hour on Business, Equity, and Opportunities. We continue our series on capital opportunities in 2024. Big announcement from the IEDC. Jane King has the latest from the NASDAQ. We revisit Maven Space, a co-working event and social club specifically for women-owned businesses, and catch up with the SBA Deputy Administrator during his roadshow tour. Also, talk opportunities with the National Association of Women in Construction. Plus, the remarkable story of Violet T. Lewis, educator and businesswoman, who founded her own business school in 1928 here in Indianapolis. We are getting started by introducing you to 2 young entrepreneurs whose business is truly popping in the Bottle Works district, Jonathan Warren and Michael Barnett. Their story is simple. They were friends with a great idea.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
So I'm Michael Barnett with Market Square Popcorn, and we're located in a garage food hall in the beautiful Bottle Works district. The response has been great. We came in kind of like a pop-up for a while. We've been able to kind of get a lot more people in the community to come by and support the popcorn. And then also, another thing is we've been getting a lot more business to business, which has really boosted our growth. In 2017, we were founded by one of my best friends, Jonathan Warren. And then I came on in 2019. And a little bit of background, we've been knowing each other since we were 12. So we've had a long history together. So it was just a natural maturation for both of us to kind of get in here. I do more of the business side. He's a microbiologist, so he kind of comes up with a lot of different flavors and things that a lot of people enjoy. Future's unlimited for us. We're just starting to, at the last 3 years, we've had 50% growth over each year. And this year so far, we're at 70% growth. So we have a beautiful challenges that we say because it pushes us each day to push each other. And also to make the business go as well as it can. I would say it's the people that we touch, like the community, like being a part of Indianapolis. And if you ever had time to look at our logo, it's Indiana based. We're local guys, so we love to be a part of the community. And we've been everywhere now in the city, and we've been well received. So that's been the most rewarding part for us.
My name is Jonathan Warren, and I am the founder and co-owner of Market Square Popcorn. So my background is a food scientist. So I went to Bowling Green State University, and I studied microbiology, and that's what got me into making all these wonderful flavors that we have at Market Square Popcorn. Popcorn is something that, as a family, we just grew up with. It's one of those things that at the game or wherever we're at home, our family just loves popcorn. So we kind of got into just flavoring it on the side and kind of testing different just iterations of the popcorn. And I have 4 boys, and all of them, they just devour the popcorn. So we would just test it with different flavors and different things, and then that's what kind of started some of the flavors that we have at Market Square Popcorn. So me and my business partner, I knew him since we were 12 years old. We're both from Indianapolis, Indiana. We started in and just kind of testing some of the flavors. And then we just said, you know what, with my science background and his business background, he's a graduate of Ball State University. We just seen that we work really well together. We've known each other since we were little. We had an excellent product, and we're like, you know what, let's let everyone else see it. For us, it's always push forward, try to work with the city, work with Visit Indy, work with Downtown Incorporated, work with all the organizations that are here to help businesses. And then once you get that opportunity, use it as your personal all-star, your personal Super Bowl, and just put yourself out there as best you can. It's all about partnerships and working together. So I'd encourage any small business, no matter how small you are, to just keep on pushing forward, and if you love what you're doing, it's gonna be easy for you. When people try our popcorn and they taste it, and I can see the smile on people's faces that they really enjoy it, and I know that me and my team have crafted that flavor for them, that's what really makes me feel good.
We love sharing startup stories. If you have one or know about one, please let us know. Email us at beo@wishtv.com. Coming up next, a loan participation program with new opportunities for accessing capital. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Last week, the IEDC, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, announced the launch of the state's Legend Fund to help entrepreneurs and small business owners gain access to capital to grow. Natasha Jensen-Matta is the IEDC Vice President for Entrepreneurship in Innovation Development. She has the details.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to capital.
My name is Natasha Jensen-Matta. I'm the Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation Development at the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. So the IEDC launched the Legend Fund, which is a $29 million initiative to support socially and economically disadvantaged individuals, business owners, as they seek operating capital. So we have 8 lenders who have been approved to participate in the program. A few of them are already up in the portal, so if people are interested in finding capital through this program, they can get matched with those individuals based on their business criteria. But we have 8 approved lenders and we're looking for more. So we will be looking for socially and economically disadvantaged business owners to take part in this program. The funds are specifically set aside to support those business owners, and we are seeking lenders who primarily lend to those targets. Mission-based lenders, CDFIs, CDCs, revolving loan funds. Those are the types of lenders that we are looking to participate in the program. It does have an expiration date. We are looking to get the whole $29 million fund spent in the next 5 to 6 years. That is, all of this funding is federal funding from the State Small Business Credit Initiative, or SSBCI, because we like our acronyms here. This is federal funding from the U.S. Department of Treasury. It is a difficult lending climate out there. We understand that. To support our economy, our small businesses are vital to Indiana's economy. So we know that we need to support them and getting them the operating capital they need to succeed here in Indiana. It is a great time to be a small business and entrepreneur in Indiana because there are a lot of resources out there to support small businesses as they look to start and grow. But Indiana is the #2 best place to start a business, and that's not lost on us here at the IEDC. That means we have the ecosystem, we have the partners, we have the stakeholders engaged to support businesses along their growth journey, whatever that looks like for them, to make sure that they can be successful. Well, I think the entire SSBCI, the State Small Business Credit Initiative program, is really just a true representation of the Indiana ecosystem. So whether you are looking for equity capital through our direct investment in our partners at Elevate Ventures, or debt capital, operating capital through more traditional debt financing, loans, things of that nature, the ecosystem really has a lot of support to help push businesses forward. Whether you're looking at purchasing equipment or adding to your lines or whatever it may be, whatever growth looks like for you, there are resources that are out there. So while I can't pinpoint one specific success story off the top of my head, I think the entire ecosystem is growing, and that's really what we want to see here at the IEDC. I think first and foremost, small businesses and entrepreneurs that are interested in some of the resources like the Legend Fund should check out the IEDC's website. There's an entrepreneurship page that has a list of tremendous resources that are out there to support them. But really for SSBCI in particular, we're looking for socially and economically disadvantaged business owners who want to take part in that program. That is a very complicated definition, so please check out the website, check out those definitions, and don't count yourself out. If you have a question, ask. We're happy to answer and help redirect. If that's not the right fit for a program, we have other resources that may be a good fit for you. I think seeing the impact on these small business owners and the impact that that has in their communities is the most exciting piece of my job. Every day I get to see the cool things we make and how that shapes the community around them, whether that be increasing the median household income in that area because they're providing jobs, or opening a coffee shop in a place that didn't have one before. All of those things are vital to our Indiana communities, and it's incredibly rewarding and incredibly exciting every day to see.
You'll find more Access to Capital segments and lots of good information on this very important topic on our website, beoshow.com. Up next this hour, our interview with the Deputy Director of the Small Business Administration, the SBA, about new opportunities for technology funding. Much more to come on Business Equity and Opportunities.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities. Last summer, the U.S. Senate confirmed Dilawar Syed as the Deputy Administrator for the U.S. Small Business Administration, the SBA. He was in our area Friday as part of an SBA road tour to announce America's Seed Fund Week, an event aimed at helping fund innovators and entrepreneurs who are working in advanced technology. He took time out to sit down with Business Equity and Opportunities to talk about upcoming events and share his personal path to Washington.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Dilawar Syed, I'm Deputy Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration. So you're absolutely right. SBA is a mission-driven agency. We are in the business of creating opportunity for small businesses, 33 million small businesses that we represent. It's a privilege to serve. I'm an entrepreneur turned public servant. And I have built companies in the software space, in consumer media, and most recently in the AI space before I joined the administration. So I bring that perspective of having built companies, having been an entrepreneur, having had to raise money through the thick and thin of economy, and also, frankly, having built diverse teams. So all of those perspectives are very helpful as I am in this role. And I wanted to serve because, frankly, after the pandemic, given how much work we had to do, I think our federal agencies could always leverage and benefit from operating skill set, management skills that we can bring to federal government to help us meet this moment. So I think for many entrepreneurs, we are problem solvers. We're also optimists. And I was very fortunate to be in Silicon Valley where the culture is that you see how you can create the next generation of solutions that help us solve societal problems, help us solve global problems. At Lumiata, my most recent company in the AI healthcare space, we were attempting and striving to solve the problem of lowering the cost of care by using big data, by using AI models to see how we can foresee a potential health risk down the road and be more preventive of that. I'm always very enamored now with the rise of generative AI, all that we could have done with this company even 3 years ago. So when you look at the innovation clip, how fast it moves, it's in a matter of 3 years, we have a technology that is now at a very different level. So it's really always about how can I solve a certain problem, and then you bring in a team of people. And my philosophy is that you can have great ideas, but you can't really execute unless you have a good team. And you have people who are empowered, who feel passionate. You create a culture that is supportive, and you try to execute. And all the examples of we have great companies that we've built in our country, whether tech or non-tech, they were built by great people and great organizations. And so it's that ingredient, having a very strong idea of solving a problem, having a business model around it, and having the people to execute that idea. I've been here for almost 24 hours. It's been one of the most packed agenda I've had. Yesterday I spoke at Tech 16 and an amazing crowd there of many entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. Just before our interview, we sat down, I met with a number of folks who are applying for SBIR, STTR grants. These are small business investment research grants. It's part of the America's Seed Fund that we, SBA coordinates across the federal government. These are non-dilutive grants for innovative companies that have a product that requires a longer term commercialization track. In addition to that, we also have our traditional programs, our business loans. Last year, in the state of Indiana, we did almost $600 million worth of loans, growth capital, working capital loans, loans to where you can get some money to buy an equipment for your factory and so forth. We also, by the way, as an agency, help coordinate the federal government contracts. Your viewers and listeners may not know, but the United States government is the world's largest purchaser of goods and services in the world, $700 billion a year. That's bigger than the GDP of many countries. The president has been very emphatic about making sure that small businesses get their fair share of that large amount of government spend on contracts. And also, socially disadvantaged businesses get a fair share. Black-owned businesses, Hispanic-owned businesses, Asian-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses. And so our agency, and I have this privilege to work with the team to make sure that we do that by getting folks certified through various processes. So it's financing, it's innovation grants, it's access to these government opportunities that can be, a great source of pipeline for some of our companies. We obviously work with lenders. We know that these seed grants are seed grants. I mean, they're not going to give you the runway that you need to be able to launch a product to its full scale or build a team. The first phase is up to $250K, then you have another $800K or so. But you also then need other resources. You need access to loans, potentially, which what we can offer. And that's what I talked about, the local banks and lenders we work with here in the state. About 70 plus are active. Some of the big lenders at Huntington Bank is pretty active as well. We're also working increasingly with regional banks, local community banks. A lot of times, especially in our underserved communities, underserved regions, it's the smaller banks that have the relationship with an entrepreneur. And we learned that during the pandemic. So we are making sure they have the SBA-backed products that they can offer in the market. And the final point I'll make ahead as well is for those of our listeners and viewers who are on the tech side, SBA also funds SBICs, small business investment companies. These are actually venture funds. And in fact, we had some meetings yesterday here in Indiana with a couple of SBICs who have been very helpful in building a portfolio of tech-forward companies in this state and in this region that are backed by SBA. And we have made some pretty significant reforms all across our lending programs to make sure that these loans are getting in the hands of underserved communities. And also that some of these loans can be a smaller loan as well, because not everyone needs a larger loan. And there's been some very intentional process improvements at SBA to help ensure. I remind folks all the time in every stop I have that SBA is in the business of creating opportunity. You can reach out to an SBA district office. Right now I'm sitting in an office in Indianapolis. You can reach out, set up an appointment, and at no cost get advice on your business plan, get guidance on how to raise financing, how to get a loan if that's what you need. In the state of Indiana, we have 10 small business development centers. 10. We have 2 women business development centers. These are again funded by the SBA. They are paid for, if you will, by the taxpayers, by you and I. And so you have access to them to get advice. We also have a mentoring program through our SCORE chapters. These are retired executives, some of them have done amazing job in helping guide and mentor aspiring entrepreneurs. You should consider reaching out to SCORE chapters. So again, all of this information is a fingertip away from you. sba.gov will list all of our services. All of it is free as advice. And then we can guide you along the way, as you think about raising financing, or as you think about launching a product and so forth. And we see this in community after community. So just seeing the energy in Indianapolis, I came here after a few years. I can't recognize the city. It seems great talent, great universities around here. And how can we capitalize on this moment? I feel privileged of a lifetime to serve in this role and see how can we make sure that this moment, post-pandemic, with the recovery and all the geopolitical challenges, we are on a path where we can help so many folks realize this moment, their own entrepreneurial dreams, because there is so much good investment going on and all the support that federal agencies are providing, working closely, obviously, with our partners across the states as well.
This Week in Business is made possible by InnoPower.
Hope you don't mind if we give a big pat on the back to our boss and to a program that we talk about frequently as a very important resource. Our owner, Dewan McCoy, is getting a big honor from the Small Business Administration, Indiana Small Business Person of the Year. The head of the SBA says winners of the award embody the grit and determination that power the U.S. economy, applauding Dewan's efforts as an advocate for small businesses and underserved communities and creating new jobs, advancing the economy. In turn, Dewan credits the SBA for his own access to capital moment, an SBA-backed loan that helped him launch his TV ownership efforts back in 2008 during the heart of the financial crisis. Dewan and honorees from other states will gather in Washington, D.C. during the National Small Business Week at the end of April. One will be named National Small Business Person of the Year.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Small businesses may not be nationally traded, but what happens on Wall Street can certainly affect them. Jane King has what you need to know from the NASDAQ.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Accounting and bookkeeping.
The big event this week was inflation. It is still a bit hotter than expected. The government says inflation rose in February by 3.2% compared to a year ago. The items that went up the most in cost: housing, airline tickets, vehicles. This is the second month in a row that inflation has been higher than expected. Meanwhile, Indiana's unemployment rate was 3.5% in January, down from 3.6% in December. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development said the state added more than 10,000 private sector jobs over the previous month. The DWD said Indiana's total private employment now stands at 2.8 million. The state primarily saw job gains in construction, trade, transportation and utilities, and private educational and health services sectors. Well, the latest Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer found farmers remain concerned about their farm's financial performance in the year ahead. Wheat crop prices continue to weigh heavily on financial expectations, with mid-February Eastern Corn Belt cash prices for corn and soybeans declining by 7% and 8% respectively compared to 2 months ago. High costs for things like fuel and fertilizer are also a concern for many farmers. New business applications keep rising in Indiana. They rose by 13% between December 2022 and December 2023. That's according to an Axios analysis of Census Bureau data that puts Indiana among the top 14 states for new business pursuits last year. Car makers are sharing driver's information with insurance companies. This includes how often you drive, where to, how hard you hit the brakes and take corners. The New York Times reports some drivers with vehicles made by GM say they were tracked even when they did not turn on the feature called OnStar Smart Driver, and their insurance rates went up as a result. Well, it costs an average of 45 cents per kilowatt hour to charge an electric car at a public charging station in Indiana. That is the exact same price as the national average. This is according to Stable Auto, an EV charger software developer. The cost of charging an electric vehicle varies from state to state. Indiana has seen one of the lowest adoptions of electric vehicles. Hamilton County saw an estimated 298 electric vehicle miles driven per 1,000 residents in the second quarter. That's according to Replica, and Boone County is right behind at 268. Finally, basketball fanatics will spend more than a full day, 36 hours, consumed during March Madness. Between watching games, creating brackets, and discussing it with family and friends, a survey of 2,000 basketball fans 21 and older revealed that during the 3 weeks of March Madness, nothing else matters. This was conducted by OnePoll on behalf of Tipico Sportsbook, and the results also revealed 88% of fans are likely to stay loyal to their team and will watch every second of the game, even if they're losing big. They do say that the top 3 most likely conferences to come out on top this year include the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big East. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King.
If you are looking for more accounting and bookkeeping segments, just go to beoshow.com, or more simply this hour, scan the QR code. While you're there, subscribe to the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast so you can listen to our contributors on your schedule. Whether you have your own brick and mortar business or work from home or choose a co-working environment, there are a lot of options for running a small business. Up next, we visit a co-working space specifically catering to women who own businesses and want a space with networking opportunities as well. That's ahead on Business Equity and Opportunities.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
In order to run your business day to day, a place to do the work can be the issue. To that end, Leslie Bailey created Maven Space, specifically designed for women who are business owners. It serves as a co-working space that's also an events venue and social club. Here's more.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
My name is Leslie Bailey. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Indy Maven and Maven Space. So Maven Space is a co-working space and a social club and an event venue, but we focus on female entrepreneurs, and the concept spun off of my first company, which was Indy Maven, which is a media company for women in central Indiana. When I launched Indy Maven almost 5 years ago, it'll be October of 2019, that we just wanted to do more storytelling for women, because seeing that gap in the market, that just feeling like women's stories and the ones we wanted to see told were not being told. And then through that evolution, realizing same thing, but in a physical sense. So where are women going to start businesses? That we started hearing those statistics during the pandemic. That first summer, women were starting more businesses. They were filing more trademarks than ever, and they were staying in the system longer than ever. And this was sort of before we were hearing Great Resignation, right? And so I heard that on a podcast interview with Rachel Rogers as an author and a podcast host, and thought, oh, right, women are going to go start businesses. They have been forever, but this is going to be the time where they're looking at, how do I manage family and keep this full-time job? Or maybe I got let go of my full-time job. And sort of that natural evolution of, well, you can do it so long at your kitchen table, but you don't have that level of support and networking and all the things that go into like a necessity for running your business. Looking at a space like Maven Space where women can come and get everything they need to get done in that day. So already, right, I threw my gym shoes in my bag so I can squeeze in a workout in our fitness center later. I've grabbed a juice that was made by a local Black woman-owned business in the cafe. I'm sitting here and doing this. I will get everything I need to really get done in my day today, but I'm also going to network when I'm going and getting a cup of coffee. I'm going to run into other business owners. So it's all built in one place where I'm not having to drive around the city or go pop up in a Starbucks somewhere to get everything I need to get done. And that's pretty typical, I think, for most of the women here at Maven Space. You can sit here on any given day and find a graphic designer, an attorney, somebody to do your marketing. I mean, you sit here for a week and pretty much you're going to fill any business needs, but that's just as far as services go, let alone, sponsors, people, civic leaders who come in for events. So, I mean, you really plant yourself here, and I think it just also accelerates. I hesitate using the word, we are not an accelerator, but certainly by being in this presence, you're not only making your life easier, but then you're supporting women who are also in your network. And we do have a couple male members as well, so it's not just women, but yeah, it definitely makes it easier for you, but also easier for you to then support other business owners. Well, the projections for co-working as an industry in the next couple of years are huge, right? That's the new reality. People are working differently. I don't think offices traditionally are ever going to be the same again. And that's, again, not a blanket statement, but for the most part, you're just going to see more of this. And I think as we see jobs move even further into a gig economy where you're not going into a traditional office, but you still need somewhere that's not your kitchen table, where the dog needs walking and laundry needs doing. So I feel like the industry itself is just going to continue to grow. I'm excited to see more spaces in central Indiana popping up because the need is definitely there. And through some of our partnerships too, that we've been able to expand and get to, the demographic of entrepreneurs who really need this support and that have historically not received it. It's not just Maven Space, so we have relationships with different communities and other membership organizations, like Create Connect Collab is one, as well as Indy Biz Pass. So we have 100 Black entrepreneurs right now who work in the space, as well as Speakeasy and P30, so they have access to all 3 co-working spaces. This is that first year that they're going through, but 96% of Indy Biz Pass members are women. Statistically, across the United States, Black women is the largest demographic of entrepreneurs, the fastest growing rather. I think there's nearly 2.7 million Black women entrepreneurs. But historically, not getting the same support as far as financial support, networking, all those things we talked about today. So those partnerships are really important to me as well, not only to just expand our community here and what we're doing, but to make sure that the women who really need the support know what's available to them, whether that's partnerships that we have through various chambers or organizations like Indy BizPass and CCC. That's just to name a few, but also even the partnerships we have with sponsors. We have a great relationship with PNC. And so this year you'll be able to come and sit here and meet with a banker and make sure that you have the right documents and things that you need to maybe open a business account or even, fitness classes. We have a trainer who's going to be here on a more regular basis. So you can really have all the support you need holistically, personally and professionally to meet your goals.
Running your business day to day is made possible by Circulus Digital Media.
Maven Space is one of many co-working spaces that are part of the Indy BizPass program from our friends at InnoPower. For more information on any of your running your business day-to-day segments, visit our website, beoshow.com. Coming up, we turn our industry focus to the world of construction and, keeping with our celebration, to be specific, women in construction. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Jordan Nelson Fox is the Vice President for the Indianapolis chapter of the National Association of Women in Construction. We turn to her to learn what kind of opportunities there are for women in the trades here in Indiana.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Jordan Nelson Fox. I'm the current Vice President of the Indianapolis Women in Construction Chapter 34. NAWIC, formerly, was founded in the 50s. Our chapter was established in 1960, so we've been around a while. So we provide membership opportunities for women in the construction industry, and we often do monthly events for education, social engagement type of events. We also do educational type of events. So yeah, we really do quite a bit. Nationally, women make up about 10% of the construction industry, so still a small fraction. But yeah, so there are opportunities for women really at every level, from executive leadership to working in the field in the trades, from project management to being a superintendent or a foreman in the field, and kind of everything in between. Probably just because it's a male-populated industry, I think there's maybe just some intimidation there. Most industries, especially business, are still fairly male populated, and I think there's just kind of that intimidation factor. I think what Indy NAWIC does is we kind of provide that support system for other women in the industry. I was introduced to the construction industry through just interior design. So I went to college just for management. So I would have never thought that I would be in this industry. Got really interested in interior design, started working for an interior subcontractor. And then from there started working for a general contractor. And now I have worked as a project manager. I do pre-construction, and then also business development. So there's just a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of opportunity through the unions. So there's carpenters unions, pipe fitters unions, where they'll help facilitate paying for that, for apprenticeships and things like that. And then something that Indy NAWIC does, so every year we do a scholarship golf outing. So we raise money for scholarships that students in Indiana can apply to. The deadline was just the end of February. So every year about the end of the year until February 28th is about the cutoff. But we offer scholarships to students pursuing construction-related degrees or construction-adjacent degrees, as well as trade scholarships. letting women know that there is an opportunity when they're young. So I think, getting kids involved in STEM activities, engineering, just letting them know that this is a career path and this is also a career path for women. When I was in school growing up, I didn't even know that this was something that was out there as an opportunity. And so I would say getting involved early is really key. As women in this industry, obviously with it still being, a very male-dominated industry, we're kind of still the underdog. And so I think, breaking through barriers and kind of, showing others that women can do these jobs and they can do them just as good, if not better than men.
If you'd like more information about opportunities for women in construction or any of our industry-focused segments, visit beoshow.com. Next, we share the story of Violet T. Lewis. Her legacy continues to play a very important role for women. Time for a favorite segment here on Business Equity and Opportunities, the success story. Violet T. Lewis was a pioneering educator and businesswoman. Founded the Lewis Business School here in Indianapolis in 1928. Her granddaughter and namesake, Dr. Violet Ponder, shares a very personal account of the impact her grandmother made on history.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities Success Story.
I am Dr. Violet Elizabeth Ponders. My name comes from both my grandmother, whose first name was Violet, and her sister, whose name was Elizabeth. They were both educators. They both lived in Indianapolis for a long period of time. And they're very special to me. And I am proud, very proud, to carry both names. My grandmother, when she left Wilberforce University, she went to Selma, Alabama, to the university there, and she started a business program there. She wrote the curriculum, she did all of those kinds of things. She came back to Indiana, first to work for Madam C.J. Walker, and then slowly she developed her own business. She was one of these that saw something and it just stayed with her. And finally her mother said, either you're going to do something about this or you're going to stop talking about it. My great-grandmother was very colorful, so the language was just a tad bit different. She ended up starting the college. First, I want to say it was on Vermont Street. It was a storefront. She only had a couple of students. She didn't have any evening students. So she made her sister, Elizabeth, sit in the window. So it looked like she had students in the late afternoon, early evening. She was very creative. I don't know anybody who would have started a business in January of 1928, but she did. She ended up moving the business into her home on 28th Street. Thankfully, she had a father who was a master carpenter, so he transformed her house into her house and the college. When she had enough money to move it back to Indiana Avenue, and it continued there until she closed it. She ended up closing the Indianapolis operation because she had also started a college in Detroit in 1939. The Detroit College, of course, Detroit's a larger city, so it grew much faster, and she couldn't do the back and forth. She was an entrepreneur. She had everything from a peanut shop, and when she was cooking the peanuts, she made sure that the exhaust went out on the main street to draw people in. She had a business where she did things like printing and things like that. So she was all about making her students experts at what they did, using what she had around her. She used the students in the store. She used the students to create these print materials. She used the students all the time. She found her students through advertising in the local Black newspaper. At one point, she worked for that editor. And then word of mouth is a powerful thing, all right? So she also used word of mouth. She worked with the local churches to produce their bulletins and things like that. So she always had an inroad. And then once people found out that you could be trained to do these things and get jobs, then the college really began to flourish there. She's not only the founder of Lewis Business College, she's also my grandmother. Yeah. And she switched between these roles depending on where we were. So we could be having a very grandmother, mother, daughter, or granddaughter conversation. And she would get to a certain place in the stairwell. Her business was in her home, even here in Detroit. She would get to a certain place in the stairwell. The dog would lay across this. And once she crossed the dog, she was in business mode and the conversation changed. I think more importantly, she was interested in changing the lives of people. Because as she changed the lives of these women, she changed the lives of their families. And with that family change came like a generational kind of change. And that's what she wanted to do. She wanted them to have good office jobs, and they got those. My mother once said she didn't know who I loved more, her or her mother. And I didn't answer that question. I wasn't crazy. I wanted to be around her. And to be around her, I could not be a little girl. I had to carry myself in a certain way, and I did that. I was her travel partner for years. People were amazed that I was a 3-year-old on a train with my grandmother, and I could go to the dining car, sit there and eat by myself and be very happy. But to do those things, I had to carry myself in a certain way. She had a sense of causes that were important to her, one of which was March of Dimes. Here in the city of Detroit, she started the March of Dimes fashion extravaganza that existed for about 60 years. And to become a part of that committee, because it was all her friends and their friends' friends, to become a part of that committee, I had to raise the minimum amount of money that everyone else did. Well, she thought that was going to keep me from joining the committee. It didn't. I collected my little $25 back in 1958, slid the money over to her, and she couldn't say a word. I wanted to be involved with everything she was involved in. So I'm involved in the church that we both were members of. You know, I belonged to the sorority that she founded at the college. I did March of Dimes for years. The philanthropic side of her is very personal to me. And I support those organizations even now. The college has always been a part of my life. From literally, I was born on my grandmother's birthday. That's how I got the name. I have done everything at the college, from clean desks and chairs and bathrooms to serve as an interim president. The longest serving position I had was the vice president of student services. The next chapter of the college, I am still involved with that. The college still has that same purpose. It's giving employment to people in an area where they were not able to get the kind of training to do what they need to do. Same basic principle, just a shift. We went from office type employment to design. And the thing that I love, it's all connected to changing the lives of people. I basically try to visit every class because I think they need to understand the history and understand where they are. I am very involved with the college right now. And until my dying breath, I will be very involved with the college as long as I am allowed to be. And I enjoy it. I enjoy every single student, everything that's going on. Yesterday was the official opening of the sample room for Pencil Lewis College, Detroit. It was exciting in that now students won't just design the shoes, they will make the shoes, all right? And am I in line to get a pair of shoes made? You know I am. And they have been collecting all kinds of shades of violet and purple for me since the college came here, and I'm excited about it. She always used to tell me that you take lemons and you make lemonade. So no matter what the challenge is, her faith was important to her. My faith is important to me. There's nothing that God and I together cannot move through. I may not be able to stop it from happening. That doesn't mean that I won't move through it. So there's a commitment that I have that I must help people. I just, yes, I need money to exist, all right? But I have got to do something where I help people. That is true with both of my sisters. And I think we got that from her. Most of all, I think I got a sense of confidence that there is, I may not know how immediately, but I can find out how.
You can see more of our interview with Dr. Ponder and learn more about the life and history of Violet T. Lewis, plus other notable women, in our upcoming Celebrating Women's History special. It's March 28th, 6:30 in the evening on Wish TV. As for this hour, our thanks to all of our guests for sharing their time and their stories and their wisdom this week. You'll find a link to all of them on our website, beoshow.com. Scan the QR code, it'll take you right there. If you have any questions or suggestions about what you'd like to see, shoot us an email, beo@wishtv.com. Thank you for spending this hour with us. Join us next week for more business equity and opportunities. Until then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, equity, and opportunities made possible by InnoPower, Bose McKinney & Evans, Gemco, Fifth Third Bank, and Indiana University, Indianapolis.